Hello, everyone. Good morning to you from my end. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm really excited for our event today. So if you're joining from LinkedIn or from YouTube and Facebook, Instagram, and X, we're supposed to be streaming on all of these 5 platforms. So when you join in, let me know in the chat where you're joining from. I'm going to be looking at the chat to see the people that join into the conversation today. I'm really excited today to have this conversation. But before we get going, I'm going to introduce myself. I believe most of you already know me, but I think it's it's good manners to introduce myself just quite a bit, and then I'm going to talk about Scholar Up for 1 minute. And we already have our special guest behind the stage. He's all excited and he's there waiting to come on board for us to start this important conversation. So my name is Dr. Amaka Ifeduba, and I'm the founder and lead coach of Scholar Up Mentoring Academy. And in a minute, I'm going to show you a video, a 1-minute video that summarizes what we do at Scholar Up in case you're just coming through and wondering what is Scholar Up Academy. I'm going to be showing you a video. Just a bit of a backdrop. Scholar Up is now over a year old, getting to 2 years, and it's really been a journey of learning and building community. And I love to host this event. Really, nobody pays me for this. Nobody pays my guests to come on board. It's all about building community and learning together and just fostering that global collaboration. That has really been what we are about. And we have our global conference. It's coming up in the next 2 weeks. In case you've not registered for it, eventually you'll be able to, someone will put a link in the chat so that you can register for that global conference. It's November 22nd and 23rd. Okay, so let me just share a bit about Scholar Up, and then we can get this show on the road.
Begins with the right guidance and opportunities. And at Scholar Up Mentoring Academy, we are here to help you unlock your full potential. Whether you're preparing for graduate school applications or building a standout professional presence on LinkedIn, we provide the tools and support you need to thrive. Our programs are designed to help you craft a compelling personal brand, position yourself for global opportunities, and achieve your dreams. Led by Dr. Amaka Ifeduba, a dedicated mentor and coach, Scholar Up empowers you with personalized mentoring, actionable resources, and proven strategies to take bold steps toward a brighter future. Scholar Up Mentoring Academy is more than a program. It's a community dedicated to helping you succeed. Take the first step today and discover how we can guide you on your journey to greatness. Follow our page for updates and access all our resources at linktree.com/scholarupacademy. Your success story starts here.
Okay, so that is just us in brief. So we have our monthly LinkedIn Elevation program. Actually, we are now in cohort 17. And then we also have our grad school mentoring session for aspiring students who want to come to the US for graduate school. So if you're in the chat, I see a number of people have joined. Let me know where you're joining from so I can say hello to you. Let me know your name. Tell me where you're joining from. But with that, I'm going to bring up our guest because we like to keep to time. We're going to be here for less than an hour or so. So Daniel, who is joining us today, is the founder and CEO of the PM Playbook. It's a movement redefining project management through human-centered leadership. He is passionate about helping project managers build strong, empowered teams that deliver trust, clarity, and influence. First of all, Daniel, I want to say thank you for making out the time. I know today is Saturday. There is 1,001 other things you could be doing, but you're here with us, and we just want to learn from you and have a conversation, right? And so you're welcome.
Welcome. I'm very excited about being here today with you guys, and that was a great promo video. Like, I want to sign up for that. It was so good. Yeah, no, very much. We're on the same path on so many ways, and I just so excited to be here with you today.
All right, thank you. And we're just going to get started with this conversation today, right? these days you don't have a conversation. There's hardly a sentence that goes by without AI in the mix of it.
Yeah.
I feel like AI has redefined work. It has redefined everything. In fact, some of the things that were not possible less than 4 or 5 years ago, today it's now like if you don't know it, you are outdated. So I want us to start our conversation from that point, right? Nowadays, where project managers or people who are working would have to rely more on tools compared to when you had to rack your brain to do everything in terms of the things that were possible to achieve with artificial intelligence. I'd like to know, what are some of the specific skills still that you feel like are indispensable, with or without AI, as a project manager, someone who is coordinating people, who is trying to deliver a seamless project, that these skills are indispensable and you still need them? Yeah.
Great. That's a great question. And this is what I try, all my mentees and my coaching clients, I try to get this point across so much, because what you just said, you literally hit the nail on the head. With AI here to stay, of course, right? And at the end of the day, it's not going anywhere. I feel like every day there are 1,000 more tools show up on the scene. And we're in a place where, although it seems like it's been here a while now, we are still at the very beginning of this. So I see a lot of people, especially project managers, they're consumed by trying to figure out how to use all these different tools at the same time, moving away from the core function of project management, which is really where our bread and butter is, and replacing some of that with those tools. I know, every company has their own set of tools, and certainly as you work with them, of course, you'll get to know those more. But for me specifically, the basic ChatGPT, Gemini, a few others that most people use. I've tuned them up. I've created agents. I've really tuned them in a way that enables me to kind of push off all the stuff that kind of gets me in the weeds every day, the updates, the comms, the emails, and move away and enable me to develop more, better relationships with my clients, with my customers, with my team and stuff like that. So again, I've talked to many people at PMI and even Kathleen Welsh and a lot of the people that are very much in line with AI and where it's going to go. At the end of the day, it's still people that manage these tools. Don't get consumed by the tools. There's going to be 1 million more next week and 1 million more after that. And certainly know the basics, understand the language. If you at least could have a conversation with someone, you're on your way. You understand how the tools work logically, the LLMs, and really kind of just really get a good understanding of how tools work. Forget about specific tools. At work, you'll use tools. Every company changes every week. Another one comes down the pipeline. So again, get a good baseline on that. But again, for me, ChatGPT and Gemini, I literally use it probably 50 hours a day. It feels like. Thank God I had those tools, because I could run a business, ordinarily would require 20 people. Now I do it with just myself.
Yeah, that is really, I think I love the way you put it about understanding the basics, like going back to the foundation. So let's say hello to our friends. I see Uche is joining from Facebook. He said he's one of our volunteers. It's nice to have you here, Uche. Thank you for saying something in the chat. I always like to look at the chat because I want you guys to talk back. I don't want to feel like I'm just talking to myself, right? And then confidence is also here. I say, you're glad to be here. Where are you joining from? Tell me where you're joining from. I'll be happy to hear that. So Daniel, we'll get back to the conversation. I think that's a good place to start off the conversation. But I also feel, because you alluded to something, that now you can do something that probably you needed a team of 20. Now it's just you. Yeah. So you're saying there's that challenge that people's work is at risk, and is going to continue to be at risk in that way, because now with the capability of AI, there's so much that can be done with it. Now, how can organizations then continue to build teams that stay connected without letting this technology just disintegrate? Everybody's running down their rabbit hole and chasing this new team. How do you kind of keep that human side? That's also another good question. I was hoping you asked me a question that was similar to this. So
obviously every company right now is in either some kind of exploratory stage where they're looking to define the tools that are mostly going to integrate what they have already, so they don't have to create a large investment and kind of wipe out everything. And they're trying to figure out how to connect all these different tools and data sets and clean the data and really ensure that they are working from a good baseline. Because if you're not using a good baseline, it doesn't matter what $1 million application. If you don't have good data, it's clean, it's fresh, everyone agrees that this is the data we're going to work from and it's good. None of those tools matter. You're just going to put more mess on top of something that could be already very frustrating environment to work in already. So really for me, when this is happening, one, ordinarily, you hear different numbers. I hear 5%, I hear 50%, I hear 80%. In project management specifically, of the amount of time and effort each week that those tools could now kind of push off to the side, which a lot of project managers right now are very scared to lose their job because of that. But I try to reframe it in a way, and I always do this with everything, is treat that as an opportunity. For me, now that's an opportunity. If I, say my tools use 50% of my day, my week, my month, whatever, that's 50% of the time I get to talk to my stakeholders more, have one-on-ones, get to know my team, get to know my clients. Maybe I have 4 or 5 projects coming down the pipeline. Maybe I could start on them, or at least exploring what's going on with them. So for me, I want to flip it on its head, use it as an opportunity, one, to connect more on the human side, but also use some of that time to learn about how those tools work. Not every single tool out there, but certainly the ones within your environment, your organization, and also just in general, how AI tools work specifically, and really try to leverage ways to ensure that when these tools are coming in, that you're implementing them in a way that it's not trying to really replace the I guess I don't want to say menial work, because it's not. It's very much, project management is very much dependent on risk management, all the different documentation, all the reporting we need. It's very dependent on that, especially giving updates to our stakeholders. So it's not menial work by any stretch of the imagination. But in the larger project leadership mindset, it's certainly on the lower side of things I want to work on. I want to be in the throes of the project and really having my hands on working with the people. And at the end of the day, that to me, again, is where the opportunity is. Of course, always making sure that you're understanding AI, because we're kind of at a fork in the road. I was lucky or not lucky enough to kind of be around when the internet first started. And I kind of feel like it's going the same way, where it's going to explode very quickly in 2026, 2027. And if you're a project manager today and you're not at least competent in AI, but also understanding how to leverage the human side and fill that gap, you are not going to be well placed in 2026 and 2027. You are going to be left in the dust. And I know that sounds maybe not good, but it is the truth. And I've heard that from every expert that you could possibly imagine on these topics, saying something similar. So again, for me, I always frame it as an opportunity. I try to always look at the glass half full. So now is the time to learn those people skills, because in my mind, there's project managers, and that's what most project managers are. But if you want to really move into true project leadership, where your business acumen, dealing with the senior level stakeholders, you're translating strategy into tactical delivery, you must be able to work within the people environment, because projects and tools don't deliver, projects people do. So if you want to work in that little environment, in that bubble, you need to really make sure that you're fine-tuning those skills. And again, it is an opportunity for me. And I cannot stress that enough. Don't be scared. Don't be nervous. There may be some jobs that go away, but if those jobs do go away, at least in the project management field, that really just means you're really just managing tasks anyway and doing something a tool could do. And you're not truly leveraging the skills and the frameworks and the leadership that project managers really should be showing if you want to really be a powerful project manager.
Right. I think I really love the way you framed it, which is looking at the glass as half full instead of half empty, and then moving from managing tasks to project leadership. That is where my next question is going to be, because a lot of people don't know what the difference is, right? Like you're just managing tasks and you're checking off to-do lists. And when you are really doing tactical work that brings a lot of value, a lot of coordination to it. But before you go to that question, I see some of our friends who are joining. Blessing says she's joining from Nigeria. Nice. Sylvia says she's joining from South Africa. Thank you so much for being here. And then we also have David. He said, hi from London, and stay encouraged from your chief encouragement officer. That's fun. Hi, David. Thank you. Keep encouraging. Thank you for being here. So all of you who are here, there's quite a number of you. Help us to reshare the event. That way, some people are just on LinkedIn and they don't know what to do with their time. They can join in and learn something, right? That's the whole point of being here. So just repost the event so more people can join in. We still have about 45 minutes to really get into the meat of this conversation. So we are just getting started. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here, and thank you for providing those answers. So I was going to go to the question of project management, project leadership, moving from managing tasks to actually bring in real value to the table that artificial intelligence cannot replace. What are some of the misconceptions you see when people talk about those human-centered leadership? And how would project managers who are just coming up, who are learning on the job, who are trying to really go from just being task managers to really that project leaders that can be trusted to bring real value to the table?
No, again, as usual, great question. And I'm glad you brought this up, because especially for the project, I feel I live, eat, and breathe project management. It's in my DNA. I feel like I was put on this earth to do this. And with my advanced gray hair age, I feel like I'm in a place now where I just want to give back as much as I can to the community. So the next answer is really for like 0 to 5 years, of course, others as well, but 0 to 5 years experience. So certainly, I see a lot of project managers get bogged down in the frameworks, the tool sets, the methodologies, which of course is very important to what we do. But that really limits your ability to truly make an impact and create a legacy and enable the next generation coming behind you to really learn from you, right? Because to me, again, not anyone, but most people, especially project managers, they could build their Gantt chart, and they could frame out their schedule, and they could manage resources, and they could get all the things aligned to manage a project. But if you truly want to move into leadership, certainly you need to understand the value and how to speak with the business, right? You need to understand how the business works and thinks, and how your project is going to tie into the value of either the overall success of the company or this particular client or something maybe down the future. So if you could kind of tie into that and be in those meetings and be in those conversations and really have your ear around, paying attention to ensure that no matter what you're doing, that the project really is delivering value, not that you're completing a project, because a lot of project managers get bogged down in there. Second, again, emotional intelligence. I can't stress this enough. This is key to your success for making the transition from project manager to project leader, where now you're stepping back and you're operating in more of a strategic role, and you're not so much in the weeds like, did you do this? Did you do that? Let's have a meeting. That's great. We all need to do those things. But if you want to take a step back and truly take a 30,000 foot view of what our true role is and kind of how it interconnects with the business, how it interconnects with the clients, the end users, and ensuring that what we're doing is actually delivering value from everyone from the top all the way down to the bottom. Because you don't want to ever deliver a project where, $100 million project that no one uses, right? So, but active listening, empathy, and some of the misconceptions I've heard around some of those things, plus some of the other tools or traits within emotional intelligence themselves are, as an example, empathy or just emotional intelligence, that they're soft and that means you're weak. That is certainly not the case. That means you're a good human being, right? And when someone talks to you, stop waiting for them to respond to them. Actively listen. And I don't mean just with your ears. I mean with your eyes. Do they look nervous? Are they upset? Are they agitated? Are they frustrated? Like, really pay attention to those and try to identify what those people are feeling without them saying it. Because a lot of times I found that they may not even know why they're excited or exaggerated. So actively listen. And once you do that, take a deep breath, wait 2 or 3 seconds before you respond, and really consume and rationalize what that person said. Because lots of times, especially in an environment where, if you're a project manager, lots of times things don't go well. They don't go as planned. They don't meet the mark. We're off schedule. So as an example, a cross-functional team member, maybe I need IT team to do something for me. They're going to miss the mark. I already know we're going to have a problem. So I might be talking to the person who's actually going to do the work, and he might be yelling at me or frustrated. Yes, of course, the normal thing is you want to defend yourself or you want to go back at them. Do not do that. Do not ever do that. Listen to what they're actually saying to you. They might be trying to just tell you, hey, man, I have 50 other projects that have nothing to do with you going on. Everyone wants a piece of me, and I'm just trying to figure out how to make it work. So if we do, what's going on? Maybe I could talk to your manager. Maybe we could shift some of those priorities. Maybe I could get a new team member assigned. Maybe I could ask leadership to have a third-party contractor come in. Actively look and listen to ensure that you're trying to develop solutions with these people collectively, not you put it on them. You're working together to work on these solutions, because everything has an answer. Might not be the answer you want, but it's certainly an answer that can help move the project forward in one way or another. And again, really the biggest one I hear is like, oh, emotions. That's not what this is. Yes, of course, it's an emotional reaction in the way that we work, but it's not about I'm in the corner crying, and that's not what this is. This is really, again, just being a good human being, listening and paying attention. And if you just do those basic things and really take care of your team, keep an eye out. As some things I like to do in meetings and stuff is, even when I'm in a meeting with my team, the people I know and I trust and I love, and they work with me, and they could finish my sentences because we work so long together. I pay attention to what they're reading. Maybe every 10, 15 minutes, especially if it's a longer meeting, I stop there. I kind of check around there. How's everyone doing? Is everyone getting this? Does anyone have feedback? Is anyone stressed out? What's going on with the team? I try to do little check-ins on there. Also, I try to do as many one-on-ones as I can.
Right.
Again, not for hours on end. Maybe once a month or once every 2 weeks, depending on the situation and
right.
what, and maybe someone's not feeling well, or they had something happen in their personal life, and you need to be aware of those things because it could affect your project. Just really trying to, again, showing your team all the time that, one, you are there for them. You will go to bat for them. You're going to defend them no matter what. Of course, if they do something wrong, that's different, or illegal or ethical, that's no go. But anything else, I'm going to go to the wall for you. I'm going to make sure that I defend you no matter what. If we have a problem internally, we'll deal with that later. But externally, I'm going to always defend my team no matter what, unless they do something that's really not good. But yeah, really, I could go on and on and on about it.
Yeah, I think that kind of leads on to my next question. You touched on something really important, which is trust, right? It's like, can two people work together unless they agree? Yeah. Sometimes the way I see trust, I feel like trust is like this clean sheet of paper. And once you wrinkle it up, no matter how much you try, it's hard to smooth it out again. That's sometimes that's
you
like no matter how much you try.
Yeah.
So as a project leader, when you are leading a project and you suddenly realize that there are people within your team whose interests are no longer aligned, and you see that through concrete evidence of their action, that it looks like, okay, these people are supposed to be my team members, but the way I'm looking at it, it looks like they're working against me. And I have this deadline racing. I need to focus and deliver this project. That's a very dicey situation. In that kind of situation, with your experience, what should someone do, right? Because now you have a project you're trying to deliver. You don't want to get distracted. Now you've identified these few people who are supposed to be really core members of your team, but it's like their agenda is totally different.
Yes.
Now you're trying to find that balance.
I'd say 1 out of every 4 or 5 projects, I have someone on my team and it could be for many reasons. Maybe they got passed over a promotion and they blame me when it has nothing to do with it.
Right.
Maybe
that sounds so real.
Maybe they want to work on a different project, but they got assigned to it. There could be a plethora of reasons, but really at the end of the day, one, if you're doing some of those things I said already, the active listening, the paying attention, the one-on-ones, you usually have your ear to the ground already, so you could kind of see those things coming. Also, obviously, once that happens, especially if it comes out of nowhere, like all of a sudden one day your team members, you feel like they're trying to burn your career down or work against you and get you fired. Like I've had that situation happen to me many times.
I've had it too. So I'm asking you from experience.
Crazy, right? Like
I'm trying to get
the same team.
Experience from you.
Yes. So, I mean, obviously, you want to pinch that off as fast as possible, even if it has to go to the extreme of them leaving the company. Of course, you don't want that, especially if you work with these people and they've been like this with you since day one. You don't want to have that happen. So again, usually by building the trust and all those things, I usually ordinarily have great relationships with my people, especially if they're my people I work with all the time. So ordinarily, I'll pull them to the side. I won't call them out in a meeting ever. I'll pull them to the side, especially if it's already in front of other people. Hey, what's going on, man? Or it could man or woman, doesn't matter. What's going on with you? Like, you're acting strange. You're talking more. You're talking less. I see you agitated or angry. I see you're not getting your work done. Usually, you're the best guy or woman on the team. What's going on with you? Lots of times, I found just from that simple conversation, but framing in a way that when your words are telling them, without even saying the words, I care about you. What is going on with you? I don't care if you're yelling at me, meaning I'm a big boy. Like I've dealt with everything under the sun. Like that means nothing to me, but you're on my team and I care about you. Sometimes you don't even have to say them words. It's just the other words that come out of your mouth and the way you're acting and your relaxed nature that they could see. Plus they probably have experience knowing that you're the kind of person that already is like that to them. You take care of them. So lots of times, you just work through things. If there's someone that reports to you, which is very rare in project management, because ordinarily we work on cross-functional teams and we don't have any hierarchical or title relationship with these people. So if that's the case where they're underneath your hierarchy, you have a little bit more power influence because you could affect their job, their performance, their end of year reviews, their pay. But most of the time, 99% of the time, you're dealing with someone who's on another team that you have no direct managerial control over. If that's the case, if you can't resolve something quickly, I'd say maybe one conversation, maybe see how it goes next time. What I like to do is I always try to, in my own teams, or especially if there's someone I work with all the time, I always try to have like one or two people that are on my team that I work with, that I built great relationships with, that are like my twins. And maybe that's not the right word, but people that I know, because sometimes you're looked at in a position of authority because you have the title or the leadership or the manager role, although you're not their manager. Some people, depending on cultures and things like that, they look at that like they're the boss. Sometimes I have to go to one of my people, my trusted people. Hey, maybe you could have a conversation with them too, right? See what's going on. Maybe they won't say something. Maybe I had the one-on-one and they're still not telling me what's going on. And if some of those things don't work, especially if they're not on a cross-functional team, I might have to go a step further. I might have to potentially involve their boss. Hey, John, always great for 3 years. All of a sudden, something's going on. He's not telling me. I've had a few other people talk to him or her. And, maybe can you take a talk? I want to try to do it in a way so it doesn't damage my relationship with that person, but the project still needs to go forward. The company's value and strategic vision, it still needs to go forward. And that's my job to make sure that happens. So ordinarily also in the background, every time I hit a new company or project, I've already put the legwork in with all the different teams already. So before I don't just go to like the IT manager that I don't know. I've already talked to them 5 times, 10 times, have one-on-ones. I go out to lunch with them. So I've already built good relationships. So when I come in to talk to them or send them a message, if we could chat, they already know I'm coming from the right place. I'm doing it for the company. We're working together. And they know that I'm not just coming to complain because that's what I don't have time for that. But, sometimes it might be as simple as them, that a particular manager swapping the person out, maybe temporarily, maybe permanently, if they're actually causing harm, affecting other people, doing something illegal, all the really negative things. Maybe it's time to let them go. But that is always the last. I don't ever want to have that conversation. I've had it many times. It's not comfortable, and it's certainly not the best thing. Always, always, always try to make it work. You can't make it work forever, though. You got to get the project moving forward.
Right. That is true. I think I gleaned a lot of insights from what you shared, which is just finding that balance between where you say enough is enough.
Yeah.
The project has to move forward, and you've tried everything within your power, and at some point it's like, okay.
And that's really that's one of the major things, like the conflict component of it, where the difference between project management and project leadership, especially myself included, 0 to 5 years, maybe even longer than that. Human beings aren't built for confrontation ordinarily, right? We're not prepared for that kind of stuff. So when those things are happening, we either back away or we kind of let it slide, and all of a sudden the project blows up and we're the ones responsible. So that experience and the certification, all that things over years, and especially having a mentor, that's a major part of this, and a network and people to kind of bounce ideas off of outside of your team, because sometimes you just need to talk to people who have nothing to do with what you're working on, just to get a clear picture. Maybe you're the person that's in the wrong. Maybe you're not doing the right thing. Just to really bounce ideas. So if you could do all those things, that's really where, to me at least, one of the maybe 5 or 6 things that really start to bring you from project manager to project leader, where you're leveraging every lever of emotional intelligence to truly manage. Because when things are great, everyone's a great project manager.
True.
Things aren't doing so well, which happens on many projects. Most of the projects, I've managed over 2,000 projects in 25 years or 20 some years. Most of them have not gone the way I planned. The day one first kickoff call, my project's already messed up. So that, again, stepping away from the task, taking your head up from the paper or the computer, and really kind of paying attention to your team, because your team is the one that's going to deliver the project for you, not you.
Right. True. Yeah. True. You're absolutely correct. I think it's always about finding that balance and having clear understanding. Ask the person in charge to know what is our focus. Where are we focusing our energy? We cannot stay bickering, right? For me, I always say I cannot channel my energy to back and forth.
No, oh, no.
And that will get me to the
I have
next
kids for that.
question.
I have enough kids that I do that with.
I
don't need that at work.
No, I never do that. I just deal with things a different way. We have our friend joining us from Pakistan. Muhammad, you're welcome. Thank you for being here.
Nice.
If you haven't shared the event, do share the event so that more people can come in. We have Chinonso. She says she's joining from Nigeria. Hi, it's good to have you here. And Nicholas is clapping for you, I suppose, because you've been giving us such valuable tips, and he's clapping for you. And then we have Abdul Karim. He's joining from YouTube. He said, for effective project management, you need to pay attention to your team. That is 100%. Absolutely correct. Yep. Right. And then we have someone else from Nigeria. And then we have somebody else. What's David saying? He said, AI is a tool to support with tasks. However, humanity drives the process. Yes. And I agree that empathy and emotional intelligence and psychological safety are innate human traits. Yes, psychological safety. That is another important thing. Yeah. That we're going to talk about.
Good. That's where I was going with the conversation about the team. I just didn't say the word, but that's it. Your team needs to feel safe. They need to feel like, God forbid, they had a family member pass away at home and it's affecting them at work, that they feel safe enough to come to you and say, hey, listen, my dad passed away. I'm going through it right now.
Yeah.
Maybe can you assign some of my work to someone else? I'm here. I'm showing up. I'm just going through a difficult time. And as a leader, that's okay. But you need to create the environment for that to happen. And then, of course, have the skills and experience to then figure out what to do afterwards. But you have to create psychological safety for your teams. It is mandatory.
Thank you. Yeah, that is so good. Then we also have someone from Nigeria, and then we have Hassan from Morocco. Wow, Morocco. Nice. It's good to have you here. Yeah, we always have a spread. We have people
I love this.
all over the place. So I'm always asking, where are they joining from? That way I have a feel of the people who are here. And then at the end of the event, you see all this number of people rewatching again, because this event is going live on Facebook and YouTube. And yep, that is fun. So I want to ask a question. In this age and time, hybrid working, remote working is becoming more the norm than before, when everybody have to dress up and go into the office, right? For me, I have this big conference that is coming. Is in 2 weeks' time. It's actually exactly 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks from
November 22nd, 23rd, the Ascension Conference. I had a group of leaders of close to like 15 to 20 people that I started working on the project, and eventually we have more than 100 volunteers.
Wow.
Everybody is remote, like literally everybody is scattered all over the place. And I cannot tell you how the challenges, the lessons, the learning for me as the person leading this group and trying to keep everyone happy where possible. Is hard to keep adults happy.
Oh yeah, right? Impossible. Impossible.
Right. So it's really been it's been a huge learning curve for me, and I can say that just taking on this challenge and saying I'm going to bring together over 29 speakers from more than 14 different countries as speakers to this event that is supposed to attract up to 50,000 people, right? Because we're streaming on all platforms and live. How do you manage hybrid teams or remote teams as a project manager, where sometimes, you're not, there's that feel of when you're with someone, right? If someone is working in the same office, working in the same room, you can call them in for a meeting. It's easier sometimes. It's easier sometimes when you're working with people day to day. But at this age and time, that's not always possible. Sometimes somebody is all the way in Nigeria and you have 9 hours difference. They're in Morocco, they're in the UK, and somehow you still have to integrate, work together towards a common goal and deliver that project. What are some of the skill sets that young project managers, people who are building themselves to become project leaders, what are some of those skills they can build to manage either a hybrid team or a remote team to still deliver excellent work where everyone is happy as possible? Right.
No, that's a great question. And I could tell you from talking, I got laid off at the end of October last year. And since then, I've been on this crazy journey. But since then, I've talked to well over 1,500 project managers. And we have a lot of conversation about this. I could tell you, I've been working professionally for about 26, 27 years. I was always 9 to 5 in the office every single day, every single year, right until COVID. I've never not worked 40 hours in the office. I ordinarily work out in the New York City area. So for me, just that first time environment, especially under COVID, it was very stressful because I've never worked in that environment. Yes, I've had some calls on some Teams meetings and some Slack, Zoom, but it wasn't my full way of working. That was a one-off or a two-off, and it required me to get comfortable to it. But really, this is where real project leadership comes into play. Because like you said, it's easy to talk to Bob and Sally and Joe and Mahan. Like, it's easy to talk to them when they're in the same office as you.
Right.
But if you're now working, even, sometimes in an office down the street, but you're just online. But especially if it's a global team, we live and work in a global environment, especially in the last 5 or 10 years, although it's always been like that, but it's more prevalent now. It's not easy. And this is truly where the emotional intelligence part comes into this, right? Because lots of times we work with people in different countries, different regions, different cultures, different religions, different languages. I don't know many of those things. So one of the first things I ordinarily do, and I suggest to any person, you do not need to master all those things from every single country, but be open to learning about it. When you get on the call with people, especially if they're your team and they work for your company, make sure you ask them little probing questions. You don't have to spend all day talking about it, but hey, when are your holidays? Especially this affects your project, so it's kind of like a win-win. But just try to learn about people's culture. People love that kind of stuff, and it really helps you very quickly build a bond with one person or team or whatever the case may be. So cultural awareness is massive, and that certainly fits in the wheelhouse of emotional intelligence. Next. Great. You got all that, all the holidays, this stuff, everyone speaks different languages. That's great. They also are in different time zones. How do you make that work? Right. So you have to make sure that, if you're having team meetings, that you make in a time zone that it works for everyone, or you need to use your experience to come up with a better way. Maybe you assign like a supervisor of the team in India, or a supervisor in the team in Korea, and you make sure that you and those managers are meeting at least once a week or whatever the scenario may be. And then that they're also having a separate meeting, because you don't want to have them on at 3 o'clock in the morning, their time, just so I could do it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, my time. So there's lots of different ways to work it out. And that's certainly your environment, your company. There's lots of different ways to figure it out. But also some of the things, the challenges with remote teams, a lot of remote teams, especially if they're new, or they're just being built, or they're just assigned to you, a lot of those people start to, especially if it's like one person in India, 2 in Romania, 1 in the UK, they start to feel very alone. So you need to go extra above and beyond to include them. You also need to make sure that you're not paying special attention to Bob, Sally, Joe that's in your office. You need to make sure you're at least doing the same effort, if not a little bit more, because you can't touch and see those people. You need to do group things and really make sure that everyone gets your attention. And also, set up some times, like maybe once on a Thursday, the APAC team or the European team, I'll be available from 2 to 2:30, or I'll even stay at work late at 5:30, just so I can make sure I have a half-hour time where if you guys have any problems, issues, call me directly. We'll get on a call. Make yourself available. You do have to do a little bit more work, but putting that extra effort in, especially in the beginning of a project, program, whatever it is, it will pay off 1,000 times. But cultural awareness, empathy, don't show favoritism, and really try to understand the people, their environment, and really, be available for them, and find ways to make sure that you're able to have the meetings, even if it's a shared document, or you do it once in New York and you upload the video so the other regions could see it. Work with them. Don't just put that on them. Work with everyone and figure out if that's the best way to do it. Or is it maybe I have the managers associate? There's a lot of different ways to do this, but you have to include everyone. When you build a solution together, it always, always, always feels like you own some of that. And whether it goes good or bad, you guys are the ones that picked it, not me. If we need to reevaluate, we'll reevaluate the situation. Maybe it's not working in 3 months, or maybe all of a sudden our hours shifted, a new client. You have to stay connected, ear to the ground all the time. Check it in. And even if you have those little managers, even if they're not a manager or a real supervisor, in your head, you make them like your manager person. Make sure that they are doing the same thing in their region, their area, in their office. And you're touching base with those people outside of the full group, just so you really are always, because if one little nugget happens bad over here and then it affects Romania and all of a sudden your project blows up. So again, kind of all the emotional intelligence things, throw it all in the pot and really put a little extra effort. I promise the first few weeks of doing that, it will slow down. You'll have your ways of working, and it will just create an environment that works for everyone.
Oh yeah, that is so deep, and that is truly, truly meaningful. Yeah, you talked about time zones, and I just laughed because the conference is starting at 3 a.m. my time, 3 o'clock in the morning, because I had to take the brunt of it. Most of my teammates are more in the UK time. So to make it work, so it's not going into midnight their time, then I'm taking it upon myself. Okay, I will start up at 3 a.m.
I'll take it.
It's not
That's
always,
what a leader does.
It's not always easy. And every day I'm praying in my mind that I don't sleep till 6 a.m. and everybody's waiting for the conference to start. Yeah, you're absolutely right. We'll have a couple of friends join us. There's really so many people listening to us. Thank you all for joining. If you have any questions for us, questions for Daniel, something about project management, leading team in this AI time, you want to put it in the chat. We have like 20 more minutes to wrap up. But that saying, let me kind of reset the room and say hello to all the people. I'm so excited when all these people come in to listen to this.
I see people from all over the place. I love it.
Right. So Precious is joining from Nigeria. Abdul Karim says you have to be open to learning when you are working with people. That is true. Annie is my friend. He's from the UK. He said, hello. Hi, Annie. Thank you for being here. And then we have Shweta. Is that how you say your name? I hope I got it right. She's from India. Thank you, Shweta, for being here. It's good to have you here. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat, right? And then we have someone else from Ghana. We have quite a spread. Joshua says he's joining from Ghana. Thank you, Joshua, for being here. I hope you are enjoying the show. Let me know in the chat if you've learned something. It's just something that have stood out for you and something that is meaningful from this conversation we've had in the past 40 minutes. And he says, building good, authentic relationship with your team matters, right? Annie, are you asking or are you telling? Annie is my friend. So
that's the point. Authentic relationships, not, hey, how is your wife doing? Not, I'm asking you just to ask you. Make sure that you're asking because you truly want to know the answer and that you put that in your bank later on. And when next time you see that person, bring it up. Maybe they got married, their kid went to college, all those little tiny tidbits. I promise when you're sitting in a room of people and God forbid there's a sponsor or stakeholder that's pushing back on you. If the first thing you do is say, hey, how was the wedding? How was your daughter's graduation? All of a sudden the temperature just went from here to here. And the chance of you getting yes as opposed to no, it just went up about 70%.
You are absolutely correct. Yeah, I have come to realize that for me, leading such broad teams, diverse people all over the place, sometimes what's caused the point is just the little reminders. Yes. Oh, you remember to check in. You remember this person said they were not well and you reached out.
Yes.
You okay now and things like that. It just kind of makes things better. And this will lead to my next question, but then we have somebody else joining from Maryland. Nice. Thank you for being here. I don't see your name, but yeah, I'm glad you're here. Martins is joining from Nigeria. And let's see, if you have a question, I'm trying to make sure we are not missing any question. Oh yeah, Abdul Karim says, Mr. Daniel is a great speaker. His concepts are so on point. So you should know that, right? Thank you so much, Abdul Karim. Zainab. Oh, I think the name is Zainab, actually. Abdul Karim is the last name. I know this because I grew up in the north. This name is from northern Nigeria.
See?
It's been a while, yes.
The cultural awareness I'm talking about. Those little things make all the difference.
Right. So I can tell because I know Zainab is a feminine name. So this is her last name and Zainab is her name. So good to have you here. I've been saying her last name all this while. So as we wrap up our conversation, I'm going to go back to AI again, right? Because now you cannot say anything without AI. Everybody is like, there is this frenzy. There's this fear, I would even say. I see that even in my own career, even in my own corporate career, where we know so little. And people have this fear of missing out. There's that thing where I have to be learning how to use 20 tools at the same time. Yeah. And I think sometimes even in using the tools, people waste more time because maybe they're not using the right tool. They're trying to do too many things at once. They get so distracted and then it derails from the purpose. Yes. How do you balance that as a project leader? You're just at that intersection where we need to bring in more tools, but we also need to move forward with this project. How do you kind of balance that where people don't feel so overwhelmed, like they feel this stress, I would say stress of, I don't know how to do all these things. Yeah. No,
that's a great question. And kind of, again, if you work in an organization that has the AI tools, obviously you're going to use those. You're probably going to get training. That's obvious. But if you're talking about just a small project team, like on a lot of project teams, we just maybe use ChatGPT or something like that, right? But when it comes to the tool specifically, like you said, going back to what we said before, don't try to learn every new tool that comes out. That's impossible. Learn how they work. do research, spend a few extra time. Maybe even your boss would be okay with, spending a few minutes, or even do it on your lunchtime or do it on the weekend. Spend a few minutes every day or an hour or two a week, really trying to understand the technology itself. There'll be a million more tools tomorrow. I promise you guys that. We've already got a million more today. Try to understand the technology for sure.
Right.
And again, if you're a project team and I'm using ChatGPT and you're using this or using that, if it's not the the larger company tool, try to agree as a team kind of what you guys are going to use. And like you said, if you all agree, hey, besides all the big tools, we're going to use Gemini or ChatGPT, try to figure out how you could all use it together. Maybe even bring someone in, networking, right? Also, see if there's some training. Secondly, network. Have your ear to the ground. LinkedIn is a great resource. There are tons of millions of free videos for that stuff. Always be watching and paying attention, reading the journals, reading the stuff, PMI, there's so much information out there, but that's also one of the problems, that there's so much information out there and it seems like it's here. It is, but it's just at its infancy. We have such a long way to go. Even ChatGPT, it even tells you, ChatGPT makes mistakes right before you type something into it. So Let's tell you something. So yeah, at the end of the day, learn the technology instead of the tool, and you'll be able to use most tools. Everything's the same. You do prompting. Learn how to do prompting. That's a good skill to have. Not ChatGPT. Learn how to prompt. Yes, everyone's a little bit different, but the idea of, just like if you're a computer programmer, you do this, and if then statements, like there's a logical way to purpose it. Learn how to build them logically, not so much the actual words, but logically how to build those things. If you could do that, besides the big tools that has a lot more bells and whistles and buttons, this is just you typing. Just really understand the logic behind the tool itself, the technology, how it's used, how you access data sources, the data you put into it, make sure it's clean. You're also, today, it's not perfect yet. It's far from perfect. Make sure that if you are getting responses from these tools, that you're double checking as a human being, because I put in a ton of information, even if it's the best information out there, it gives me something that sounds completely crazy, or numbers that look good. And I'm looking at some of this stuff and I'm like, wow, it would have took me a month to do this. It did it in 2 seconds, but then I actually dig deep. And this is like, where did it get this information? That's not what the data I gave it. So be very careful. The results, always double check. Don't put your work off on them. You still have to do some of the legwork.
Right. I think I really like how you put that, because that is so true, especially for when you're doing technical work. For me, I'm a trained scientist, right? So you can spit things into ChatGPT and it gives you these answers confidently that are so wrong.
Oh, yes.
It's like, in fact, it even makes up references and makes up
Yes.
I'm
taking a course right now, and I'm trying to time. I'm giving it research articles, and it's telling me, here's a thing from PMI. It did 27% this, and it gives me a link, and it goes to nowhere. And I'm like, where did I Google it? I'm like, where did they get this from? It's not even close.
There are times.
The more official it looks, the better chance it probably has of not being true.
Right, absolutely. That is so funny. There are times I have to prompt like a crazy person with capital letters. Yes. Don't give me information that is not verifiable.
Yes, my prompts are getting to be like this long. Make sure you use real verifiable links that if I gave it to someone, they could go to it. And then it gets better, but still it's not 100%.
Right. So I like that you brought that up, that even though we have these fancy tools that are doing things at the speed of light, if you don't go back as a person to verify the data sources, you may just end up with a whole pile of rubbish, and you don't want that.
Your face if you're presenting that.
It's like a big embarrassment, right? You don't want to submit a work and say, oh, here are all these resources, and it doesn't exist. Because he made it up. Okay, this is really getting so interesting. And we see Blessing said what stood out for her is creating a conducive work environment so team members can reach out easily. And she says, thank you. This is very, very important, right? And it's something I always tell my team. I said, you can talk to me at any time. Come, let me know what the problem is, right? Let's talk.
Make yourself
available. Just don't sabotage the project. Don't break trust. There are some other heavy things that is like, don't do that. Come, let's have a conversation first. Let's talk about it. Let's try to find that line. That is so good.
The less meetings you need to have, and that gives you more hours to potentially talk to your people if you need to. So it's like a win-win-win circle.
Right. Yeah, and Abdul Karim said ChatGPT can be confidently incorrect sometimes.
Oh yeah, confidently incorrect. Yeah.
I like how you put it there. Really, that is just the case.
Yeah, that was perfect.
As we begin to wind down, right, I have a lot of young audience who are coming up in their life, deciding on career path. I want to understand, what is the business of project management in terms of someone who wants to go that path with yourself? I believe that to an extent, everybody in whatever capacity they work will do some type of project management, but maybe you are not a project leader or a project manager, but somebody else may feel like, this is very interesting for me. I want to go this path. In this AI age and time, what does that look like? Because I really don't even know.
Yeah,
right?
this is a question I get from all my mentee and coaching clients, right? Because a lot of them are either wanting to get into the field or just got in and don't have the experience. As many project managers or aspiring project managers know, ordinarily, at some point, you want to probably get the PMP certification, the gold standard of project management. But to get there, you need like 3 to 5 years, depending on if you have a college degree or not. You need to have provable experience. But how do you get that experience? It's not easy because no one's going to let you work on a project if you've never worked on a project. So there's tons of ways. And I always I came up with a little list of 10. Like there's lots of ways you could do it in your community. Like there's in the U.S. there's Habitat for Humanity. They help build homes for people that can't afford them, or maybe their house got wiped away in a tornado. You could volunteer for project management positions there. Maybe at work, there's a project team and you're not on it. Maybe go speak to the person who's in charge of that. Say, hey, I'm interested in project management. Maybe have a conversation with them afterwards, or even without having a conversation. Is there any way maybe I could see some of the work, be on some of the work? Don't do it without asking your boss, though. They might be okay. Also, maybe an hour a day you could go sit with the project team. Maybe they're not okay with that. But then the project team still lets you come maybe after work. So there's lots of different ways within your own environment, especially if the people know you kind of have a shared goal already because you work for the same company. So there's a few different ways like that. And you guys certainly reach out to me after this. I'll give you a million more ways to do this. But yes, most people ordinarily have some basic level of project management skills, regardless of what profession you're in now, or if you're starting out. People know how to organize, put things together, organize things logically. Like if you're a student in college, 8 o'clock, I got to be at my first class, 10:30, you're doing a little bit of project management. No, it's not the science and the theories and the frameworks, but you're doing some of the components of it. You're already doing it. So many people, when I sit down with them, like, I've never done it. And I'll go through the resume, I'll turn it all completely around. And by the time it's done, it looks like they're the best project manager in the world because you've actually been doing this for 10 years. You just need to frame it in a way, not only for others, but for yourself mentally, because it gives you, wow, I actually have done a lot of this stuff. Maybe I've never done it with a title, but I've done a lot of these things. And I've done them successfully. Now it should be easy for me to transition. How do I do it? Training, experience, some of the things I just said. Look to get the certification to give you the baseline, the scientific or the technical frameworks and methodology. So there's lots of different ways to do it. But certainly, if you guys want more detail, I make little pamphlets. I give them to my coaching clients. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. I wish I could talk forever about this because this is something that is dear to my heart. I want everyone to be a project manager, and I want to help as many people get there as possible.
Thank you. That was really, I think you said something that I think I learned project management from volunteering.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't go to school to do, no, I've been trained as a scientist from bachelor's degree in plant sciences, a master's in plant breeding, a PhD.
That is, science is pure project management.
That is the thing, yeah. But then it is from volunteering in high-scale projects, being part of organizing big events. Now I'm organizing this big conference because I've been part of teams that did that. Yeah. And that is how I learned those skills. So you mentioned that, and I wanted to emphasize it because a lot of times I work a lot with young people, especially young people from all over the place, African mostly. Volunteering can really be a shift that you need in your career.
Yes.
Sometimes people are waiting. Somebody who wants to pay may not be willing to give a new guy in the block a $50,000 project, even a $10,000 project when you don't have proof.
Yeah.
If you don't have any signs that you've done it, they may not be willing to hand out to you. But sometimes looking for opportunities to volunteer, to contribute your skill, that can be the shift. And you explained that really well. And I just wanted to re-emphasize that point. As we begin to wind down this conversation, I want you to just go into a little bit of detail to explain to me what is some of the mindset shifts. I know you've talked about it here and there. Just as you said, sometimes people don't even know they have the experience. right?
Yeah.
And by the time you look at their CV, it's like, you know these things. But what are some of the mindset shifts specifically that project leaders, every project leader need to have, especially now in this tech AI crazy driven world, so that they can continue to collaborate and continue to deliver value? Because I believe at the end of the day, the most important thing is to solve the problem. And sometimes when you get so lost in all of the tech and all of the AI, you forget what the goal is, that you're actually trying to solve a problem.
Yep.
And you end up not solving any problem. So what are some of those mindset shifts that would really guide someone who is maybe new in the field, in terms of now you have to deal with all of these distractions in some sort of way, right? Sometimes these things become distractions if you let it.
Unfortunately, that's the real project, dealing with that mess. Like, it's easy to get someone to do A on B on this date for this price. That's easy. But when you introduce human beings, it becomes chaos. So yeah, obviously, besides the emotional intelligence stuff, that's literally why I just built this course and I'm giving it to people, because it's so important, especially in project management with AI coming. But some other examples besides the obvious emotional intelligence that I keep harping on, really at the end of the day, so many people, myself included, I was an accidental project manager. I used to be a network engineer. I was dropped into it because I was the most senior. My PM left and I got stuck with the role. I hated it. Now I can't imagine myself doing anything else. Many people are accidental project managers. There's not much training or many degrees globally that really, you come out of college and you go to be a project, like that doesn't happen really. It does, but not maybe 1 out of 1,000. So most people are accidental project manager, or like you said, they're working at a company and maybe they got on a project and someone saw they were good and now they're working on a project. So be ready for anything. Always understand that the minute you finish your project, it's already obsolete. Because something's going to happen. Someone's going to change the scope. Some stakeholders going to go missing. Someone's not going to respond to you. Be prepared for anything. And always don't take yourself too seriously, right? Because at the end of the day, especially when you're new or coming into the role, your first project, second, third project, you want to prove yourself. You want to show your value. You want to stand firm. You want to, I'm the person that could do this. I deserve the raise, the promotion, the next big project. So don't take yourself too seriously. The job is serious enough. I promise. It's serious enough. Also, relationships. I want to get it tattooed on me. I believe in it so much. It is the core of project management work. It's the core of everything, right? So building great relationships. Ordinarily, I'll get assigned a new project. The first thing I do is before I even write my first line or task, I go and meet everyone that's on the project and everyone that could potentially affect the project at some point, including the client, and just start my relationship formation foundation with those people, so that 3-4 months go by or a month or whatever time the project actually kicks off, I already know these people and they know me. Also, make sure that trust. We kind of talked about that, and although it kind of wraps up under emotional intelligence, I can't drive it home enough. If you say something that you're going to do, friggin' do it. And do it when you said you were going to do it. And if you can't, the minute you realize you can't, let the person or persons know, hey, I'm sorry, I cannot get you that email on Friday afternoon at 3. It's going to take 2 more days. We don't have the data. I promise I'll get it to you on Tuesday afternoon. Good to go. And make sure then you do it on Tuesday afternoon. That lets people know, hey, they're not going to miss the mark. They committed. They gave me the reasons why. Everyone might not accept that. But most people understand that in the business world. And then again, make sure you actually do it on Tuesday as well. And don't wait till the last second. No one likes that. You will destroy trust before you even have a relationship with these people.
True.
I love that. I could literally go on about this forever, but really just know my last one is know yourself, right? Know what you're capable of, what you're not capable of, what you know, what you don't know. And I'm not, and I don't know, find people that do know. Make those people your best friends, because when you get on a project, maybe not even this one, or maybe it's 5 down, you know who to tap for IT, you know who to tap for procurement or finance or a media or more, whatever the case may be. Know yourself. And that, again, emotional intelligence, self-awareness, right? If you do all of those things, plus get a mentor / coach, some version of that, some trusted person that has the experience, in or outside your company. In's good, out's also good. Find yourself a network, LinkedIn. There's lots of them. PMI has a lot of them. you could have all these things. I promise you, you'll take your 10 or 15 years of learning experience and shrink it in half, at least, if you're doing the right thing and paying attention, continuous learning. If you do all of these things, you will elevate and escalate your career by half or double, right? You'll be hitting that senior project manager mark or senior project leader, PMO, project program manager. You'll cut the time in half required to get there, and you'll become a trusted advisor for the people that work around you.
Right. I think you really nailed it in talking about just do the things you said you would do. I think for me, that is what frustrates me most with working with a large number of people, right? Because sometimes people just don't do what, and they don't come back to tell you,
that's what gets
something happened. So it's like, come on, just let me know. I trusted you to do this. Yeah. So we're going to end on this question. It's already on the 1 hour mark. And he says, we all want to delight our clients. Yeah, that's true. Everybody wants happy clients.
The client's always right? That's what I've been told that since I was 3. The client's always right?
Yeah, not always right.
Not always right. No, that comes with experience.
So how do you manage scope creep? Like if you have a client.
That's a good question. So ordinarily with experience, you know that just like I went a few minutes ago where I said the minute you're done with your project plan is useless already. With your experience and you have a good understanding of how project management works, and again, this takes a few years with a lot of trial and error, a lot of bumping your head against the wall, you start to develop some fluff, some space, some safety room within your projects, right? There's different names for it, but really you're building a little buffer inside your project plan. So you're already accounting for that. 2, great risk management. If you have great risk management combined with your ability to do that, and usually those go hand in hand, you develop that safety net by developing a good risk management plan. And again, that comes with experience and the trust of your team, right? So if you kind of have those 2 things together, there's always going to be scope creep. Ordinarily, when someone comes at me, I definitely do not say no ever. But what I like to do is I try to get more information about that and try to find if there's a way to work in it. Hey, maybe we could add 3 more buttons on this app we're going to develop, but I'm going to let you know. And again, this is a lot of conversation, not just one. I just want to shorten it real quick. So, hey, we can add those 3 buttons. Yes, it's going to cost $95,000, extend it by 2 months. But those things are going to happen. Are you okay with that? And then ordinarily you need approval. So if everyone's okay with that, hey, you just readjust your project plan. But if it's something that's certainly going to throw your project off, don't do it. You have to have change management. You have to have risk management. You need to do assessments. You need to include other people. There's sponsors, there's approvers. You need to make sure that the whole of the team, and mostly the people above you, agree that that's the next best step, and then readjust. What most project managers do, 0 to 3 years, including up to 5 or more, they say, yes, I'll do it. I want to show the client I'm great in this and that and get my name out there. I promise you, 100% of the time, you will crash and burn and look dumb. You do not want that on your record. So if there's a salesperson, go back and speak with them first. Say, I'll talk to them. I'll talk to my company. I'll talk to whoever in the background. We'll get back to you. We'll speak privately. We'll do a combined front where we're all saying the same thing, but never respond yes or no right away. Just take as much information, ask the right questions from experience. Lots of times you need other people to agree to that, but never, ever say yes. I used to do it all the time. It always bit me in the butt. And I promise you, it will ruin your career or make you not want to do this anymore, because something so simple that you did yourself, because as humans, we want to show our value to people. And lots of times it winds up us doing the work, us doing the physical work, and that is not good. We're not supposed to be doing the work. We're supposed to be managing or coordinating the work, not doing the work. So again, I could talk about that topic forever.
Right. I think you're absolutely correct, because this is something that comes up too, that people just people's needs are insatiable, right? So you need to know where
I've been burned more than once, many hundred times.
Yeah, Daniel, thank you so much. This has been such an insightful conversation, and I'm so glad it's recorded. We'll have this to go back to refresh, to learn again. Just as a final 1 minute before we go, could you let people know the best way to reach you? I reached you on LinkedIn. I don't know if that's
that's my spot. No, first of all, I'm so glad I came on this. I'm more pumped up on a Saturday afternoon than I've been in a while, and some great comments. But again, ordinarily you could reach me. You see my name on the screen, and you can see the recording afterwards. My name is Daniel Hemhauser. I'm primarily on LinkedIn. I write content and coach and manage other project managers. I also have a platform called the PM Playbook. It's www.thepmplaybook.com. It's an online community of about 2,600 project managers, fastest growing one on the planet. If you're new, just starting, or even with a million years experience, join. It's free. It's just a place where project managers come and do what we're doing here. No stress. There's safety there, and you don't have to worry about anyone, saying or doing anything crazy. It's completely moderated, and it's just a place where you could come and learn and give back to the community.
Right. Thank you so much for doing all of that. We have people saying thank you in the chat. Could you show some love, right?
Oh yeah.
Zainab says thanks
to
Daniel. Annie says he loves the response you gave. You said, love that. Increased project deliverables. That should be more cost. Yeah, Annie, money is important, right?
Usually right. When you say that, people are like, oh, no. We'll forget about that.
Right. Professor Roxana says, thank you for the valuable information. And Annie says, thank you, superstar. I guess that is for me. Thank you, Annie. I'm so glad you're here. I'm always happy when you come to support our event. Daniel, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for sharing so generously from your wealth of knowledge on this topic. This is a topic that is I don't think it's something you can exhaust, really. It's like a learning journey. And all of us, no matter the level where we are in our project management journey, we continue to kind of learn to improve. I feel like the hardest part of it is the people management side. That's what I feel. Yeah. I don't think it's the task.
You could do this for 100 years, you'll still never be a master. It's just
managing people with different
open
needs
for anything, and you'll be okay.
Right. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for staying with us, for keeping the chat busy. Thank you very much. I'm going to end again with my video as usual, and then I'm just going to end the stream.
Success begins with the right guidance and opportunities. And at Scholar Up Mentoring Academy, we are here to help you unlock your full potential. Whether you're preparing for graduate school applications or building a standout professional presence on LinkedIn, we provide the tools and support you need to thrive. Our programs are designed to help you craft a compelling personal brand, position yourself for global opportunities, and achieve your dreams. Led by Dr. Amaka Ifaduba, a dedicated mentor and coach, Scholar Up empowers you with personalized mentoring, actionable resources, and proven strategies to take bold steps toward a brighter future. Scholar Up Mentoring Academy is more than a program. It's a community dedicated to helping you succeed. Take the first step today and discover how we can guide you on your journey to greatness. Follow our page for updates and access all our resources at linktree.com/ScholarUpAcademy. Your success story starts here.
Okay, thank you everyone for showing up. If you've not registered for our conference, you should. It's in 2 weeks' time. We are super excited. Thank you all for being here. Thank you so much, Daniel, for your time and for just sharing so deeply. I really enjoyed this conversation and I learned a lot from it. Have a good rest of your day.
Have a good one,
Bye,
guys.
everyone.
Bye.